Hey, thanks, pal. And I'll tell you another thing. I used to go down and reach for ball. Ooh, here comes a snapper, like snapping turtle. There's a nice eel. Oh, it's water snake taking a bite on my leg.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience presented by Underdog, the Week 9 NFL Best Bets. The silver, the bronze, the gold, but not in that order. You can hit the time codes to jump around to where you want to go, plus a recap of how we did last week and a recap at the end of the picks that we made. And always in the Saturday evening newsletter, you can get the cheat sheet for all of the picks as well. Smash like and sub to the channel while you're here. And always use code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy right now, not only for a free pick on Thursday Night Football with CJ Stroud. You get a deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And if you go to the lobby of Underdog right now, they're offering discounts on some people as well. So I took the Joe Mixon higher rushing yards, which I wanted to do anyway, and it dropped it from 70 to 59.5. So, Cam, if they're just going to give me free yardage, I'm going to take it.
I like Mixon. That line's fucked. Like the Jets favored by 2. Like I honest to God, is that like the trap of all traps? Like, am I going to like go into the lake and have a gator bite my leg off? Like that's fucked up. That game should be pick'em or Houston -1 on the road. Don't you think?
I mean, Rob, all three of us plus the coin picked the Jets on the spread pick show.
Oh God.
Well, Diggs is hurt, and that makes no Collins and no Diggs. And when you have like cluster wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, it has a massive impact on offense historically. So I mean, listen, I don't like the Jets. I'm not betting the game at the current market price, but that's why the number is where it is. It's because of the expected drop off in Texans offense. The Jets have very good cover corners. Texans don't really have receivers who can exploit that. They basically have a negative play on every drive because Laramie Tunsil holds all the time or they eat a sack. It's
Tunsil likes the bong. Remember Pizzola in the gas mask there? Like he does it hard. Like he should be sponsored by head shops, like in the old days, man. Like he's got the Alice in Chains fucking shirt going with a bong. Like that. Honestly, Tunsil, like he was so good in college, but you're right. Like that guy's just he could be better. Let's put it that way.
He's a good pass protector. He's a good O-lineman, but he creates too many negative plays. And the problem with Houston is Bobby Slowick, their offensive coordinator, is very conservative when they have like second and long. He'll run the ball every time. And when you get into constant third and long, as much as any other team in the league, you can't just overcome that. They did that last year a lot when they could roll 3 wide and they, were Nico Collins was open downfield, Tank Dell was open downfield. They don't have that this year. So it's just been killing them for that offense.
So if you do want to get in on the underdog game, I got one that pays almost 6-1. So take that discount on Mixon. You can use a free pick on CJ Stroud if you're new to Underdog with code Mayo. But I do have CJ Stroud higher than 8.5 rushing yards and Braylon Allen lower than 20.5 rushing yards, along with Mixon higher than 59.5 rushing yards. The Jets' run defense, not great, Rob. The Texans' run defense, quite good.
Yep. And they're getting reinforcements in the linebacking core for Houston this week as well, too. Henry Toa, who was out for a while, and Aziz Al-Shair are back in the linebacking core. So you get the healthy Houston defense. And I honestly do think that there might be some Houston money as the week goes on here because everyone reacted to the Diggs news, but there's got to be some sort of reaction back the other way when Houston has a healthy D.
I would think of it this way, Cam, in that game, and I don't think I'm going to take either side of it, especially at -2. But if it did drop, I guess even if it went to a pick, I'm like, do I think the Jets are going to win? I'd say marginally, but not enough to really get my hard-earned dollars on it. But I think we underrate how bad the Houston offensive line is in terms of keeping CJ Stroud out of pressure. I think he's facing a pressure on like 33% of dropbacks, and the Jets are actually quite good at getting to the passer. Not to say this is going to like kill CJ Stroud. That's why I like the higher on his rushing yards, that he has terrible receivers and he'll have to elude some pressure and maybe take off a few times. But I feel like that just keeps the game close. And Legatron was put on injured reserve, so no matter who they bring in, it's got to be an upgrade. Yeah.
Greg the leg.
Shit. That guy sucks. He couldn't hit a fucking field goal at my park.
Well, there you go.
Hit better field goals.
You cannot call yourself the leg if you can't hit field goals.
Yeah, hey, Greg the leg, you're fucking Sam Shanks. That's what you are, eh? Bob Barr. You reek. Get out of the league. You know what they'll do? Gas that turkey and pick up the 49ers kicker when Moody comes back. Carlson, the guy who got dumped from Green Bay. He's 100 times better than that fucking tool.
I feel
By the way, I'm watching this commercial. That Viking on JG Wentworth looks like Geoff, like 100 times. Like he's fucking Jeff. Have you seen that commercial where they're at the roller rink with the Vikings and the weird chicks? Like the guy looks like Feinberg, but skinnier.
I have not seen this commercial.
Oh, Rob knows what I'm talking about.
I don't.
It's like these Vikings and these guys at a fucking roller rink. It's like, it's my money and I want it now. And there's a guy who looks like Feinberg, but he's got a perm. Like he looks like he's a Viking, but it's Jeff. Yeah, it's crazy.
Let's talk about week number 8.
Sorry, Pat. I'm so beat down, buddy. I've been at the hospital. My dad fell off the bed and broke his hip. Like I'm running on fucking fumes right now. This guy, he can't catch a break. He breaks his arm, breaks his leg. I feel sorry for old people. Their bones are so damn brittle. Like it's like anytime they fall, they're done. Like it's true. I don't think I'm going to make it that far. Like I'm starting to think like, let's just go down in a blaze of glory here.
Okay.
You know?
Well, let's
with Rob's dad at the horse book.
No easier way than to go out with burning the candle at both ends and to go 3-0 in picks, which none of us did last week. But I did win my gold.
Hey, 2-1.
I'll recap it. I won the.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Pat.
My bronze.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you know what?
No, that's bullshit.
No, it's not. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second. I was 2-1. Rob was 1-2. Cam, you were 2-1. I won my gold again with Denver minus 9.5. The picking on the Panthers strategy continues to work out. And we got into the big argument about Green Bay and Jacksonville. I lost on Green Bay. However, Rob, it's funny how we can both lose these bronze picks where I was, Green Bay had 2 separate 10-point leads in that game and had to play a backup quarterback, and you lost on a Hail Mary. However, I would contend that Washington was the right side of that game.
100%. 100%. I'm not arguing that. Washington, if you just take a step back, they deserve to cover the game. They dominated offensively. They just couldn't score when they were in the red zone. They kept the Bears around. But when you are like 99% to win the game, and it wasn't even the Hail Mary that killed me. It was the play before where they just gave like Chicago a free 12 or 13 yards in like 3 seconds. The dumbest coaches find a way. Like they did the dumbest shit in that game. They handed to a friggin' O-lineman in that game that resulted in a fumble as well. Stupid team.
Can you agree, Rob? He's a stooge.
He's a stooge.
Thank you.
Stooge. I agree that he's a stooge. Anyways, I do agree though. Like, listen, the end of the day, who deserved to cover that game? Washington did. But the manner in which it happened, it's extremely disappointing to lose on a Hail Mary, where one guy's fucking taunting the fans.
What is this? Like what is this? The Maryland Terrapins volleyball team? Like that is the word. Like the guy set it up for him. Like I've never seen a situation where a guy, and that was a brilliant move by the receiver. There's no one there. Just go where somebody isn't. Usually they're diving to get it, whatever. He just sits back there. It could have been Rob, was that the easiest Hail Mary you've ever, like, it was crazy, man. And that numbnuts on the Commanders is taunting the fans and stuff. Hey, dude, get in the play, numbnuts. What a joke.
He's the player that would have had to be in behind the play any ball that got tipped, he would be in position there, but there was no one there because he was taunting the fans. Also, if I see another team not blitz the quarterback on a Hail Mary, just send pressure. They don't have time to throw the ball. If you send 6 or 7 guys, Jaden Daniels ran around for like 10 seconds there. More than that, I think. I think it was like 13 seconds before he got, and the ball wasn't even thrown to the ends. I don't want to relive this moment again. I can't relive this moment again. I had such a good Sunday, and that like really soured me heading into Sunday Night Football. And then I watched the Cowboys lose again, and
what a train wreck! I can't believe they got most covered in that game.
They suck.
Yeah, they reek. But let's stay tuned to the show. Maybe things will change.
Well, I have battled back from a terrible start to the season to be 1 game above 500 on the back of the excellent gold picks I have been making, now up to 6-2 after starting to 0-2 on the season. Rob, you're now 1-7. The Giants could not get it done for you, and Cam, you lost the gold pick, but 1 silver and bronze. So 12-11 and 1 for me, 11-13-0 for Rob. But Cam, you're 8-15-1 overall, but these 2-1 weeks will get it for you.
I told you, at the end of the year, I will make you a promise. I will go 2-1 and every fucking week till the end of the year. And I'll stand by it. I don't know what I'm going to do, Pat. You can make me like, remember when I used to eat dumb shit when we worked at Fantasy Sports? I'm telling you, maybe 1 week, give me some leeway, but I guarantee like it's 500. I'm actually embarrassed because I usually do pretty well. with my stupid picks. I'm having a rough. Like actually, I'm doing pretty good like with games, but on the go, like picking 3 games is not my fucking thing. But I will turn it around, and I guarantee you that. Rob, by the way, I was on the Giants too.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I mean,
fucking
listen,
that offensive line. Everyone like Danny Dimes makes bad throws, but the guy's dead. Like before,
oh no, he doesn't have a chance. That,
No,
I
he
mean,
has
that's
no
part of the
chance.
handicap.
Yeah.
But like, fucked up. Like the return. Listen. I love betting football. I do believe in the long run things work out that where it's like 50-50, things work in your favor. I hate betting games where there's like a return touchdown against me or a blocked punt for a touch. You can only handicap special teams so much. Like it's almost non-existent, the difference between, the 5th best team and the 25th best team in terms of special teams. A return touchdown will kill you in pretty much every game. And I'm not saying the Giants deserved it, but they were in most of the game. And the difference was a special
basically everything but a jackknife and a fucking crowbar and a ninja star. They're putting neighbors in chokehold, like grabbing his arm and doing this. Honestly, Rob, I don't want to sound like a dick, but the Pittsburgh Steelers, they get away with murder, this team. We talk about the Chiefs. Like I'm watching their games. I always feel like they're on the right side of calls all the time. That's my opinion.
Now, do you think does that have anything to do with the fact that you always bet against the Steelers?
That's fair. I'm not even going to argue the point.
But my only reaction
am I kind of right or?
Well, here's my reaction to this, Cab. I don't mean to like single you out, but people say this all the time. Like Mahomes always gets all the calls. It's like, okay, if you know this, then just fucking bet on Mahomes. Like if the Steelers are going to get all the calls at home, just bet on the Steelers. Like if we know this, but we continue to fade it, it does, the Giants were just as guilty. Neighbors dropped the ball down the sideline. He dropped a 3rd and 7 pass that was in it. Like the Giants are the Giants. At the end of the day, when I'm betting on that team, I know I am betting on a shit team with a shit quarterback. And for me, the handicap was more so I don't think Russell Wilson is going to win by margin all that often. They got the special teams touchdown. Russ looked fine. I just got to accept it and move on. But yeah, it sucked. I felt like I was in the entire game and had a million chances to cover with the Giants.
Pat, I have a real problem with life. Okay. I bet out of spite. Like teams that I hate, like that is actually the dumbest thing you can do. Like I don't want the Chiefs to win and cover. I bet against them. That's dumb. Pittsburgh, same thing. I hate that fucking team. Ever since that Seattle Super Bowl, I wanted to murder somebody. It was I almost like thought about holding up a Shell station. I lost so much fucking money that night. And even the teaser to go offensive pass interference. Daryl Jackson, like, go that fuck was a
yourself. Joke. What a joke!
Remember, Rob, they actually did an article, and I'm not just saying this. Yeah. Bill Levy, the referee, said it was the worst game he ever officiated. And in the thing next to the hand of God and one other sports play, it got ranked 3rd biggest screw job ever. Seahawks got screwed.
What was number 1? Was it Bret Hart?
Hand of God in soccer.
Bret Hart WrestleMania.
Yeah, Bret Hart was up there.
It was Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
Earl Hebner, yes.
Screw job.
Yeah.
Way to go, Vince. Can't even help the guy out in his home country. Dick.
At least Bret landed that shot on the jaw right after the fight, though. Right after he fucking KO'd Vince.
We've talked a lot about the Giants so far, so let's get to the gold picks. Washington, -3.5. I've been saying this for weeks, Rob, that I don't think that the books or the public have caught on to Washington actually being good. They should be favored by more than this against a bad Giants team. If this turns out like it did last time where the Giants lose their kicker and they have to continue to go for it on 4th down and Washington gets 7 red zone appearances and doesn't score a touchdown, then I'm going to look like a fool. And we have seen Washington struggle inside the red zone periodically, but if you're just going to give me the team that's going to move the ball down the field at will the entire game, I'm going to take the -3.5.
Yeah, I know this is the spread picks show and not the team totals picks show, but I played some Washington team total over 23.5 in this game because I thought they looked really good offensively last week, even with Jaden Daniels in the rib injury. And I like to kind of buy teams when they struggle in the red zone. I mean, this is the second time it happened to Washington this year. The other game, ironically, was against the Giants back in the second week of the season where they didn't punt in the game. They had 7 trips in the red zone. They kicked the field goal every time, but they moved the ball up and down the field on Chicago. I mean, you take out the Hail Mary and subtract that from the yardage. They still had like 425 yards in the game, over 6 yards per play. It's a very good offense. And the one thing the Giants do well is generate some pressure in the interior. I mean, the whole defensive line is pretty good, but Daniels gets the ball out quickly. They design a lot of plays for him where he gets the ball out of his hands quickly, and he has the ability to run the ball as well, which I think mitigates a lot of that pass rush. So the Giants suck, man. I'm done with that team. I was more interested in the team total over than Washington because I'm not. I know a lot of people are buying the Commanders' defense right now. I'm not there quite yet, but I don't want the Giants in this game. So I'll be rooting with you, Pat. I want Washington to score a bunch.
So Rob's onto something here. I'm not buying the Washington defense either, Cam, but I do buy their pass rush, which, as you just saw on Monday night, and this is also a short week. Don't forget that for the Giants as well. I just don't think they're going to be able to block Washington at all. As Rob pointed out, the pressure that is going to be generated, they'll get Daniels a few times, more than likely. They have an excellent defensive line, but he can get away. He's elusive. He can get it away. He gets the ball out quickly. And the two ways to beat the Giants defense, run the ball and throw deep, which are kind of the two hallmarks of this Washington offense so far this season.
The surprising thing about Washington is their offensive line. They were maligned going into the season. They're actually playing pretty well, aren't they? Like, they looked a hell of a lot better than people thought they were going to be.
They are, but I mean, listen, I'm not an offensive line scout, but I think there are certain things that you can do with your quarterback and your play calling to mitigate a bad offensive line. Like, just take a look at the Dolphins' offensive line. When Tua is in there, they get the ball out quickly, and it seems like their offensive line is okay. You put someone who's not Tua back there, and they hold the ball for a half second longer, they're on their fucking back the entire time.
You can tell Gary and that team's fucking dead.
Oh, he knows. He just texted me, actually, because he's doing Sunday Night Live with us again. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be golfing. He's like, so I'm going to have to watch the Bills and Dolphins game after the fact. But he's like, I might not even have to watch it because I know exactly how this game is going to go because it goes the same every single time.
I hate that team. Fuck, they piss me off.
They're cuss super lock this week. Miami +6.
Great. Oh, okay. Here we go.
So Paul and Jared were able to do the legwork for you on this commercial with Jeff, and you are absolutely correct, Cam. That looks just like Jeff.
That's fine.
Wow.
I told
Dead
you.
ringer. Dead ringer.
No, Pizzola, you got to see it like whatever. It's the
I
same
can't believe
face as
this.
Feinberg with the thing. Yeah, I told you he's a Viking. It's Feinberg if he grew his hair in a metal band.
Yeah.
Puffy. He's like it's Feinberg and Dave Mustaine rolled into fucking one. He's like a fruit roll-up.
This I will say, Jeff has and this is not to
fatter
offend
face.
Fatter face. Yeah, Jeff's face is a little wider.
But it's the same. Look at dude. That's dead ringer shit. Like
that is 100%.
Pizzola. Remember me
similar.
and Morency dead ringers? That's fucking dead ringer Geoff. Hands down.
Are we sure that Jeff is not a member of ACTRA and he does commercial work on the side?
I wish I was a member of ACTRA. Those fucking slugs. They kept me out of that union. You know how much money I'd have? Instead, I'm doing a show with midgets and John Oakley at 4:00 in the morning on Global. They take our show off. Remember? John. He's like, remember, Rob? We had that little midget and he was like starting fights with Oakley out of bounds with John Oakley. We used to bring on like Kenny Robinson. He knew like Jim Carrey and shit. Like that show was on like when people were jerking off to like, chat lines.
Yeah, but
we were
Red Shoe Diaries, David Duchovny.
Yeah. Some
I'm
soft porn on TLN.
I'm not going to lie to you, but Red Shoe Diaries, bad beat show when you're like 13. Not good. There's just a lot of implied sex. You don't see much tit.
Yeah, it's a soft core. It was on.
It's basically it starts the boner, and then you gotta go to TLN to finish the job, right?
Sexy
Rob?
car wash, right?
Yes, sexy car wash. Yes. They don't have that stuff on anymore. I'm watching like commercial for blenders and shit. I guess.
You can go
the
on
emergence of the internet.
Yeah, you can go on this thing called the internet and just find whatever you'd like for free.
Fair enough.
Paul,
whatever fetish you're into, you.
Paul wanted to chime in. I'm not sure if it was like a bad beat show, a good beat show, or something else. Paul?
I just wanted to say it looks like Jeff in a different time where he had to be a hunter and a gatherer, whereas he just has to be a gatherer in our current climate.
Yeah, that's Jeff before Dr. Pepper and rum.
I actually can't believe. I actually cannot believe how similar to Jeff that looked. Like when you said it, I was not expecting that. In
people
terms of
like you're underestimating me. I don't pull this shit out unless I got something, and he's basically Jeff Feinberg without like more of a pumpkin head like me. That's what it is. And he's a Warrior instead of a Charger fan. That's it.
All right, so what?
Can I give him my gold pick?
Yeah, go for it.
Can I find a 3 with Tennessee?
Yes,
yeah,
you can.
That's still there.
Bet 365 has Tennessee -3, -120.
And I'll tell you, just like Carolina, you're hanging on by a thread, Tennessee. Hanging on by a thread. You're going to murder New England this week. Rob, is this the spot for Tennessee to lay the smackdown on the Patriots? Oh, we're feeling good. We beat the Jets. Like, I know the Tennessee Titans suck, but I'm telling you, I think they win this game by like 13.
Now,
social
media Cam will tell you the Titans just played the Lions, and therefore they cannot win this game.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that trend. But you know what? Fuck it.
I would say it's insignificant.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about it. Yeah.
I don't need Rob's database to tell me I don't give a shit. Give me Tennessee -3, please, and I'll pay a little juice.
Yeah. It was a kind of a misleading. I know they lost 52-14, but Tennessee, they moved the ball pretty well on the Detroit defense last week, and they got killed by return yardage. Like the Lions special teams had like one of the best special teams performances of the last decade in that game last week. I don't have a strong opinion, but I think the Patriots are way worse than people give them credit for.
Exactly.
They got badly outplayed. I actually don't even know how they beat the Jets last week.
Yeah, no, if you look at the numbers, Rob, if you look at the numbers, like I'll pull a you. Like if you look at the numbers in a database, that you'd think the Jets won that, they should have won by like 23 points. Like the fact that the Patriots won that game is just insane to me. But you know what? Tennessee's a bad team, but the Patriots are way worse. And Tennessee's at home, and it's like a field goal. You know what, Pat? It's just one of those games, and people are like, why are you betting that game? That's the first game that popped out, and I'm like, Tennessee should like win this game by margin, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt about Washington this week. I just looked at it. I was like, that
like Tennessee, Pat, or no?
Nah, I don't really like that game.
You want to do another $50 bet? I got it up to 100.
No, he's not. I don't think he's opposite. I don't think he's opposite.
Okay.
I'm not.
I actually watched. I watched the 3-hour marathon this week with Pat, Jeff, and Tim. It was amazing.
You watched it?
Oh, I watched it. I watched it while I was prepping this morning.
What did Cust eat? Did he eat more maggots with teriyaki?
No. He just made a complaint that when you go to buy fruit at the store, they should have a sample of each fruit cut out for you, so you can.
I kind of agree with him. I agree with that take. Especially mangoes. Some are too soft, some are too hard. You need avocados, could be too hard, too soft. No, give me a. I'm with Cust on this one. Especially at a quality store like Longo's, or like stores that don't smell like shit and piss. Stores that smell like fresh baked bread. They should have a tray.
No, but Cus said he refused to go to those places.
Yeah, he won't. Go
okay. So he's shopping at Dollarama and expecting like a fruit tray. Well,
yes. Correct.
Now I'm telling his argument is shit. But at a Longo's or like a Fortino's in Rob's neck of the woods, where rich Italians shop, yeah, there's samples of meat and stuff. It's like Costco.
Well,
fine.
Seinfeld did this bit like 35 years ago, but fruit, in my opinion, is a gamble. It's cheap anyways. Like, what are you paying for an apple? If it's a shit apple, whatever, it costs you like 50 cents.
Not all fruits cheap. So like,
well, it's true.
Exotic berries cost a lot of money, and other like tomatoes. Okay, let's just call it out for what it is. Tomatoes are like cheap. Cucumbers are 88 cents. But once you get into the exotic berries and other things, they're not cheap.
That's true. But there's methods to the madness. Like, my mother went into the grocery store for years, and she was knocking on every watermelon that was there. I don't know how the hell she figured that out. But
no, it's a great move. You could tell you got to knock the watermelon.
And I would ask her, what are you doing?
Yeah, what do you do? Cam, when you knock the watermelon, what sort of sound do you want to hear resonate?
Not hollow. It's got to be deeper, like Rob's fucking guitar. It's got to have a little bit of a ring to it. Like, it's got to have like how do I say this, Rob?
I can tell you exactly how my mother used to say it to me, and I never understood it. I still don't. But she would say, Robert, when you knock on it, it has to be crisp.
Yes. I love your mom. Crisp is the word. Like, it's deep. It's like it's a not weak. Like nee. It's like it's like a slap. Like, you want to hear. It's got to be. You know what it is, Pat? It's just like, when you have a home run ball in baseball, that sound. It's got to be like, I know that watermelon's a winner. It's a winning watermelon. I know. Rob, here's another fucking thing. I don't use grocery services for one reason. I don't like some asshole picking up my stuff. I like to look at the fruit, look at the vegetable. You know what? If you want to get me canned goods, go get it. That's fine. Yeah. You can't do nothing. But I like to go to the grocery store and examine. I don't use these services unless I'm absolutely pissed drunk and I can't get out of bed because I'm starfished. Well, other than that, I'll do it myself.
There is something, like, as someone who used to work in a produce department, most of the fruit that you find in a produce department is not ripe completely as of yet, because they want to give you time to
I prefer it not ripe, Pat.
So do I, but this was Tim's complaint, that he wants it ripe in case he wants to eat it in the car on the way home.
Who the fuck is this guy? Tell him to get an incubator. What like a heat lamp? Yeah, okay, my avocados are going to get soft. Like, What's wrong? Like,
I mean,
what?
if you
Leave
put
the fruit out.
if you put your avocados, like we have them in like a water jug in our fridge, and that way it keeps them fresh longer.
Yep.
I'm a big fan.
If you want to ripen them, you put them next to other fruit as well. It quickens the ripening process. There's ways you can do it, but yeah, I don't listen. I mean, that's kind of insane behavior. If you want to eat like a ripe fruit, you can find one at the grocery store.
Yeah,
it's not like they're all the same. You know, you can tell which avocados are riper than others just by squeezing them. They're hard. They're not ripe.
No, you don't even need to do that. It's a basically if they're fucking bright green, they're not ripe. If they're darker brown, they're fucking ready to rock.
Yeah.
Put them in the taco. By the way, avocados are a superfood, man. They got great omega-3. Like, honest to God, they're like one of the
great for us diabetics, Cam. Healthy oils.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, like, since I got avocados in my life, I probably, for all the bad things I do with alcohol and stuff, avocados, olive oil, fishes, and nuts have probably put about 2 to 3 years on my lifespan, I'm thinking.
Well,
I don't think they're balancing out the bad things, though.
No, they're not.
I don't think you can get like polluted one night and then eat an avocado and it's all.
But
okay.
I'm just saying, it's at least I'm not eating like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like if you make a curry with like chickpeas and shit like that, it's better than eating a rack of ribs. But I do that too. When I go get pizza, I'm like fucking triple cheese, this and that. Like I want that pizza to be like heavier than my house. Like I want that thing like a fucking brick.
Well, that was
loaded with meat.
That was Robin Cam's fruit corner for the week. I like this. Well, we'll get your extra.
Pat, I actually got your neck of the woods. I bought a Donair kit. Man, those Donairs, I miss Donairs so much. God, I love them. When I went to Halifax, I had like 7 after I drank. I love them. I will eat Donairs. Oh, you see, that's a disgusting product that I endorse and love.
Listen, people love them. I can't stand the smell of them. They taste like shit. People love them when they're drunk.
I love Don. You're right. When you're drunk, a Donair can't be beat. I prefer the tzatziki over the sweet sauce though. Because me and Robert diabetics. I don't need my sauce sweet. I want it more the other way with feta cheese and some other nice treats in there. Yeah, let's roll.
Washington, Tennessee. Rob, gold pick from you. Who's the loser this week?
You know, the one winner I had this year, I think was opposite Seattle, and I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna take the Rams.
I like
this week.
Fuck you, Pizzola.
It's not personal.
Seattle sucks outdoors, man.
No, I'm just joking. You know what? Seattle. You bet against the Seahawks, right? They got that game against the Bills was like a comedy. Like you and Pat snaps over Geno's heads. Like that was probably one of the worst played football games by a team. Like that was awful. The Seahawks were horrible.
I just don't really want to I don't want to overthink this. I think the Rams offense is just really good when they're healthy. Like they can run the ball very effectively against the Seattle defense that's really struggled to stop the run at points this year. Now that they have their wide receivers healthy, they can throw it downfield a lot. You look at Seattle in opposing passer rating from weeks 4 to 8, they're 31st in the league. They're just giving up all sorts of chunk plays all over the field. I don't trust the defense enough. On the other side, I mean, DK might play and you get that uplift for Seattle, but he's going to be playing hurt. And honestly, the Rams defense has been a lot better since they returned to full health. They were dealing with a lot of injuries in their secondary earlier this year as well. So I don't know. I just feel like throw your priors on the Rams out the window and go back to what the priors were before the season, because that's who the Rams are now. They're healthy all across the board. So I like LA here. I'm going to take them 1.5 at Seattle.
As we were chatting about before the show, Cam, Seattle just sucks outdoors. Their offense doesn't move.
You know what another problem with Seattle is, and you guys can attest to this, I've been a fan. Back in the Sean Alexander days, guys, they had the best home field advantage going, not just outdoors, whatever. They used to take teams in Seattle and like literally at halftime, they're up 36-3.
Yeah.
Like they murdered teams back in the day. And every time they're at home, it was like Rob knew if they were the Sunday night game, Rob, and I had a bad early game, I'd smash Seattle at night, get all my money back and more. Now, they don't really have a home field advantage. Other teams travel there. They don't play well at home. You know what they are? It's actually the opposite. They're better at the East at 1 o'clock instead of home at 4 o'clock in that slot. Look, they beat Atlanta. Rob, did you not agree with that? Like they're better on the East Coast than they are at home, which is weird.
Yeah, I mean, listen, home field has greatly diminished in sports, not just NFL, but in sports over the past several years. It used to be like that, you know, especially with the East Coast team going to West Coast, they used to be a big thing. It's not anymore. Travel's great. Teams have just figured this out overall and how to play it. But I agree with you. I mean, I agree with what Pat was saying about, you know, Geno indoor versus outdoor. I do think he'll have some moderate success. It's not like he turns into a complete pumpkin when he's in these outdoor games, but when he's indoor, he's absurdly good. This is just a stance that I'm taking here where I really think that the Rams are, even though they've flipped the favorites here, are still maybe a little bit undervalued in the market. I think they're a really good team.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Kids are always learning and growing, but as adults, sometimes we lose that curiosity. What's something you'd like to learn? Gardening? A new language? Or, for me personally, how to finally beat your best friend in golf? Not cussed, but, my other friends. I want to beat them at golf. I can beat cuss, no problem. Therapy can help reconnect you with your sense of wonder because your back-to-school era can come, honestly, at any age. It's helpful learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries, and it empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major traumas. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All the best things that you need. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/PatMayo today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PatMayo. Let's move to the silver selections. Rob, do you want to lead this one off?
I really don't.
All right.
I will.
I had
Okay,
a real
I will.
problem
Go
with
ahead,
the gold.
Cam.
Yeah.
Rob, this one's for you, buddy. Give me the Dallas Cowboys plus 2.5 against Atlanta. This is the spot for the Dallas Cowboys. Atlanta has no pass rush. I'm on Dallas this week. I think this is a perfect climate-controlled game at the Mercedes-Benz Dome. I think they win this game outright. I will take 2.5 with the Dallas Cowboys. I know a lot of people are going to go, your picks are shit, you're nuts, but I like Dallas a lot this week.
I like Dallas in this game over Atlanta as well. I think Atlanta can, I don't necessarily want to say they're going to take the foot off the pedal in this, but I just don't know how good they actually are, Rob. Like they're good against the NFC South. They haven't been good against anyone outside the division yet.
Dallas is very bad. Very bad. I don't like Dallas. I might lay Atlanta in this game. I haven't decided yet what I want to do here. I might just go Atlanta team total over. But the big problem with Dallas, and here's why I don't think it matters that Atlanta can't get a pass rush. Bitch, they can't. It's Dallas's receivers don't separate. Everyone wants to talk about, oh, Dak Prescott's terrible. How can you call this guy a good quarterback? Dak Prescott has thrown 59 tight window throws this year. It is by far the most in the NFL. For perspective, for people who don't track tight window throws, the most Dak had previously thrown in his career was 47 in 2018. He's already thrown 12 more than that, and we're not even halfway through the season yet because none of these receivers can get separation. And the one thing Atlanta does really well on defense is they cover. They have very good cover corners. They don't give up separation. So I don't think the time helps at all. And the fact that they can't get a pass rush. And on the other side, I don't know where Dallas is going to get a stop in this game. That's the biggest problem for me. I could maybe be talked into the Cowboys might have like a good offensive game here, but where is the stop going to come? Micah Parsons didn't practice again today. He's probably not going to play this week.
Your boy Overstreet's going to put Kirk Cousins in a pretzel.
Overstreet?
Yeah. Isn't that his name?
Yeah, I will. I mean,
Demetrion,
this is what we're talking about.
Whatever that guy's name is.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it
was a draft pick from this year, basically, is what we're relying on is the Cowboys defense. I mean, DeMarvion Overshown.
That's the guy.
Overshown, yeah, Overshown.
From Texas.
Great name. Yeah, he's good. I'll tell you another thing, though, Pizzola. Dowdle's going to be back and shit. I think they can run on the Atlanta. I really do. I think everything.
They might, but it's. I'm done. I still think people think the Cowboys are going to like. Flip
I don't think they're a great team. I just don't think I think Atlanta's very overrated. So I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys in a situation where
Atlanta is overrated. Atlanta is the team this year that gets to the playoffs that wins like 12 games in the regular season, then they lose the first game in the playoffs because they're fucking playing cupcakes.
Atlanta though? Like it's kind of like a good spot for Dallas. Carpet, all the things that they do really well. I just think it's a good spot for them. That's all. I'm
That's
glad
fair.
like
You're
Dallas
entitled.
Too.
And maybe I'm just too beat down as a fan. It's very possible, but I've been like against the Cowboys. I want to say
I've been betting against them every week, and it's been great. But I like them this week.
All right,
fair enough. Yeah.
So Dallas plus 2.5 for Cam is silver. I'm going. Guess who I'm taking, Rob?
New Orleans Saints.
The New Orleans Saints -7.5 with Derek Carr back under center against Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. This should be all of these Carolina games. It doesn't matter who they play. Should be 13.5.
Mark the Saints teaser pick in for me right now. Immediately. Just we don't even have to.
Why are the books making lines with these guys at 7.5?
Because
people convince themselves to bet the 7.5.
Yes, you would love to bet the 7 if you could. You would love to do it.
And I got off the Panthers. I know how shit they are. You can put that line at fucking 11.5, and people will still bet the Saints. Like, what the fuck are these guys doing? Are you a moron? Denver even tried to let them cover last week, and they couldn't do it. They suck.
Bryce Young went 5 for 5 to start the game, and then they had 6 first downs on their next 8 drives last week.
Thank you, Rob.
They suck. They're terrible.
You know
There's
what,
no
Pat,
Deontay there now.
You're doing something really smart. Remember they asked that fucking kid who worked at Starbucks who won the super contest in Vegas? He goes, how did you do it? He goes, I bet on New England every week when they were murdering teams by margin. Now you just pick on Carolina. How many spreads have they covered? 1. And they won outright against the Raiders. And I was on them that week. But let me tell you, they lose a hell of a lot of games, and I'm done with those losers. They're pussycats. And I said I'm never going to bet them again, and I've faded them since, and it's been great. It's been great.
I mean, we saw this game it play out in week 1, and it was a fucking destruction. And that was a healthy Carolina defense. Now, listen, it's Carr's first game back. It's an oblique injury. If you look at the track record of quarterbacks who come back off oblique injuries, they've struggled to throw downfield a little bit more. That's a bit scary, but honestly, it's night and day where these teams. Carolina is terrible. They have the worst offense. They have the worst defense, and they're not even close on either one of those. Could never bet Carolina 7.
Rob, with the best college team, and I say, actually, this is a stupid argument. I was like, we do the best college team versus the shittiest NFL team, but I'm starting to think.
No.
Let's not even go there. No, that was dumb. Let's just move on. Like that's just opening up a door to him.
Like Bryce Young was a great college player.
Yeah, I know.
Right, and he would be a stud against the college.
No, team. You're right. They win by 30, but the Carolina Panthers are. The bottom line is they're not even a football team, in my opinion. Like, I don't even look at their games anymore. Bet the other team.
This is the hinge game in our New Orleans versus Carolina bet this year, Cam.
I'm going to tell you something, Pat. When New Orleans went 2-0, I was ready to fucking jump out a window. Then they lose 6 games in a row. I'm like, hey, I like my under 7.5 now. Pat, I don't want to cheer against you, but if Carolina can win this week, that bet is pretty well, but they're not going to win because they suck. So,
yeah.
I don't want to cheer. I wish you didn't bet that because this is a very big game for me.
Listen,
didn't I get Asian handicap with you? Doesn't matter. How many wins do I need?
You did not get
how many wins?
You did not get the Asian handicap on that one.
Sorry, Rob. How many wins do I? So how many wins has Saints only got 2 wins and Carolina's got 1? I'm hanging.
This is it. This is the chance.
This is it. This is the game.
Oh, Patrick, why did you do this to me? Why can't you just pick another game? This is really bad. Because I kind of want to cheer for Carolina now.
Cheer for Carolina. Listen, I'll have my money on.
It's not like what you're cheering for is going to affect the outcome of the game.
We're a team. Teams stick together.
We bet against each other all the time.
Yes,
we got into a
do.
10-minute argument about Green Bay Jacksonville that I got sucked into last week.
Oh, yeah,
we
Mayo,
bet against each other all the time.
You owe me $100 because that Rams game, right? You're going to pay for my golf entry or what?
I sent you the money already.
Did you already? Oh, yeah. I was wondering why my invoice was a little bit bigger. Is that with my bets in there?
Yes.
I thought you were just being nice. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you. You're a good man. Hey, I don't even keep track of this shit anymore. Just the checks clearing. Great work. It's nice to know that I work for somebody who actually could deal with a bank that checks don't bounce.
Out of curiosity, just a hypothetical here, but let's say that Pat won both of those bets and Cam had to get him Pat $100.
I already paid all my debts.
But hypothetical, that's what it means, not real.
Do you think I live under a fucking rock? Send them an e-transfer, you numbnuts. I have a bank account. You think I hide my money under the pillows like Italians do? Hey, where's my, cut open the box spring. There's the
we did a 15-minute segment either this year or last year where you couldn't log into your bank, online banking. So
and you almost gave out your password.
Yeah. I got a lot of different passwords. And hey, Pat, some of your listeners, like your Shag's giving them passwords and stuff. Thank God. For me, I wouldn't even know how to solve the problem.
You're not supposed to say that.
Oh, sorry, Shag. I love you. You are a great producer, by the way, and a friend. But
Rob,
don't ever give my passwords out because I'm fucked. I won't know how to recover my money. Let's just keep it as it is. Thank you.
Rob Silver pick. Remember, the show is called The Sides, not the totals.
Yeah, come on, Rob.
I know. No,
Figure
listen.
it out. There's a million games. Pick something.
I know. I listen. I'm going to pick some. First of all, I've afforded you so much time in the past before where you've asked me about every fucking game on the board, and now I can't have 3 seconds.
Slept in a couple days. I'm a piece of shit. Just make a pick.
Okay. I'll take the Colts 5.5.
Oh, dude, you love Indianapolis. They're like your new team.
They kind of are my new team. Yeah. I don't know. You want me to make a strong argument for it? It's not going to happen here. I mean, listen, I think Flacco's a big upgrade.
He's good
over Richardson. I get it. Minnesota, the left tackle Darisaw got hurt. They traded for a new left tackle out of Jacksonville. I don't think like the wheels are going to completely fall off Minnesota here, but I don't think that there's that much separating Indianapolis from these teams. I've talked about this, I think, a few weeks in a row now, but ever since the Colts defense got fully healthy, they've played a lot better overall. Their secondary is healthy with the exception of Juju Brent still on IR. Their defensive line got healthy. They got DeForest Buckner back last week. They're a hard team to run on when they have Buckner and Grover Stewart there. Everybody keeps saying, this Colts Russian defense is terrible. Well, yeah, because they were missing defensive linemen this year. Of course it is.
Stewart.
I'm just going to take the 5.5. I don't really have strong opinions. I make the game 4.5. I would never really bet this game at 5.5, but for the purposes of picking a silver.
Hey, Rob, I got a text from Hainzer. A 24 pack of beer in Cambodia is $13. $13. This guy's
insane.
Living large in Cambodia.
Did he retire to Cambodia?
You know what? This guy's smarter than people give him credit for. He is fucking living like a king. He's hitting like seafood buffets for like $8, like showing me big lobster, prawns and stuff. Hainzer is never coming back to Canada. He is literally going to live in the Orient, Cambodia, Vietnam, one of those places for the rest of his life. Now, you know what? Great decision.
Cam, here's the thing. And this can work for I know that you don't love hot temperatures all the time. So Central America is probably up for you. But with your job, you can move to one of these places and still just collect a paycheck.
Yeah, I like to look after my father, but other than that, when things like kind of change in my world, I will not be living in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. I'm fucking out of here so quick. I was thinking about Port Colborne, though. Like, it's still kind of close to Toronto. I can go to concerts, and it's near water. But
I thought you were going to say I'm thinking about fucking moving to Thailand or something. I'm going to Port Colborne.
You're like 20 minutes away?
Listen, I want to live in fucking Oregon, the state of Oregon or Washington State, but I got to talk it over with my lady first. There's a lot of places I want to live. And you know what?
I'm so done with Mississauga. I'm going over to Port Colborne.
Port Colborne's gorgeous. Some water.
I understand it, but were you talking about like a 20-minute move?
I can't live in Vietnam. I fucking sweat in like the fucking winter, dude. No, but I like the seafood and the prices. Hainzer's saying 24 beers for $13. I can handle that. Anyway, I'll find a middle ground, Pat. You're right, though, Pat. Costa Rica or one of those places sounds pretty good.
What do you think? You think Costa Rica's cold?
No, I don't. It's not as hot as fucking Vietnam. I can tell you that.
But you're still a very hot climate.
Morency told me the KFC, they treat those chickens like fucking kings. Like, it's the best. Like their poultry's delicious. Like, everything is like farm raised.
It's rice and beans, basically. I've been to Costa Rica like 17 times.
He told me that KFC is like a nightclub. He says it's amazing.
How much time did you spend in the Costa Rican KFC, Rob?
I want to say I have had KFC in a Caribbean country.
It tastes
or Central
better.
American.
It's
I don't
not the
remember
shit they have here. It's real. It's real chicken.
I don't know.
You're not fighting you? No,
I cannot confirm or deny. I cannot confirm or deny.
Hey,
fair enough.
Hey,
anyway,
Rob.
Pat.
Hey, Rob. I'm taking off to Punta Cana after the football season. You don't know anyone with a place down there that I can rent, do you?
Can I come with you, Pat?
Sure.
Thanks.
It's on. It's not on me though.
No, it's not on you. I'll bring my own money and stuff. I just got to get the fuck out of here. I'm losing my mind. Like, I'm done with. I need to go away somewhere, like anywhere.
I do not have any Dominican contacts. I don't believe. I'm thinking.
They got sports books. They got sports books, right, Pat?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, part of going on vacation is like not worrying about that.
I disagree. I like to bet everywhere I go.
I know, but like I like to get away from it all when I go away.
Fair enough. I understand that. You have a family, and you're a good father, so I get it.
Well, the kids aren't coming on this trip.
No, you tell those kids to stay at home and play with their Legos. They're not going anywhere.
Bronze picks.
Are we on bronze?
Yeah,
bronze.
We're on bronze. You got a bronze pick, Cam?
Can I ask your opinion on a few games? I don't like to play this game, but
I'll give you my pick, and then we can move from there. Denver -9.
If you ask my opinion. Oh, okay, sorry.
I like Baltimore.
I like Denver.
I like over, but this is not a totals pick show.
See, that's
sorry,
the
guys.
worst. Okay, the worst case scenario. We're all like 3 different games here. Okay, hold on. I think I have tweeted myself another game. Or sorry, texted myself another game. How do you guys feel about?
Sorry, you tweeted yourself another game. I want you tag yourself at Cam Stewart Live. Is that still
No,
your handle?
You should
I
do
know,
that.
I
No,
text
that should be
myself.
your new bit on Twitter. Just put
Well,
a
yeah,
line
tweet
out
your
and
bronze
tag
pick.
yourself.
I kind of do anyway, right, Rob? Like I'm probably the worst on Twitter. I don't even know how to put people's names in and stuff. I just do it like a regular conversation. I'm an idiot.
Some of the things that you do on Twitter, they defy. They like. There was one time, I think it was earlier this year, where you just responded to a tweet from 3 years ago.
I know.
I don't know how that happened. It
I don't
didn't
know.
get
No, I didn't know it was
elevated.
from 3 years ago. I
Nothing
thought the guy
happened.
just asked me a question. Then I found
Yeah,
it
but
was
how
like
did
4
you
years
see
ago.
that? Like,
I
where
don't
did
know.
that come from?
I have no idea.
It was like you
popped
just
in
picked
my
up the
timeline.
conversation from 3 years ago.
You know what? And I enjoyed I did because we finished the conversation. How about what other games do we got here?
There's
Rob,
lots.
can you go? Sorry, I apologize. Can you guys do the bronze pick first? I'm a little bit rattled.
All right,
Okay.
I made mine. Denver -9.
Okay.
I'm ready
Plus,
for
plus,
this.
plus,
No, Denver
plus,
+9.
plus,
Nine-
plus.
It's 9.5.
Unless you want to
Fuck
do
it,
alt
fuck,
spread.
I'll alt spread the -9. I like Denver in this game. I just think that
I did.
It's 9.5.
I did alt spread some Baltimore, but it was only because of good numbers. And I think that there's a chance that they could blow Denver out.
Yeah, so do I.
9.5,
But
Pat,
that,
you get
okay.
9.5.
All right, 9.5. I'll take it 9.5. Thank you, Cam, for the extra half point. I do worry that if this game gets 14-0 early, Rob, that it's absolute curtains for Denver. But I just think their defense is going to keep them in it. And something stuck out in my mind watching Baltimore 2 weeks ago, and even a little bit last week against Cleveland. But it was the beginning of that Tampa game. Now, obviously, they won, they covered. I bet on them. It was my silver pick. It was great news. But the way that Tampa was able to penetrate and get to Lamar on the first drive of that game was like, that's interesting because, yes, Todd Bowles blitzes a bunch, but it's not like Tampa's really bringing anyone. They have a terrible defense. And obviously that Lamar was able to take advantage of that. Denver will be able to generate pressure, and Lamar's been awesome against the blitz. And I think that one thing that we don't point out enough about teams that blitz is the success rate of the team that blitzes. You can say, like, oh, yeah, this guy's great against the blitz. And they played a whole bunch of teams who blitz a bunch and still don't generate any pressure. Denver generates pressure. And if they can keep Lamar contained a little bit, it's not like Baltimore's not going to score points here, but Baltimore's offensive line is bad, and their defense isn't very good. And Bo Nix looks competent. So if they can keep the game close and play at the Denver pace, I think they can keep it within a touchdown.
So the one thing I will agree with there for sure is that I don't think the Baltimore defense is very good.
No,
and they
their
lost
secondary.
their nose tackle, Michael Pierce, got hurt. It's a big blow to them. He goes on IR. They give up tons of explosive passing plays. I think that Denver can move the ball. The challenge I have with Denver's defense is that they've played a bunch of limp dicks this season, pretty much. They've played the Panthers and the Saints the past couple weeks, which makes their defense look a lot better. They've previously played the Raiders. They played the Jets. They played Pittsburgh with Fields in week 2. Really, honestly, Tampa Bay is the best offense that the Broncos have played this year.
And they beat them outright on the road.
And they crushed
Yes, 37-20. Yes, 37-20 in that game. I agree. But I still have, like, this was a unit going into the year that people thought was going to be one of the worst units in football. And now we're talking about them as one of the best. And I think that the reality is somewhere in between. Baltimore has 7.1 yards per play this year. That is the third best yards per play through the first 8 weeks of the season since 2000. That's third amongst 798 teams. They move the ball on everyone, including Cleveland last week. The best thing Cleveland did last week was shut down Lamar in the running game. I'm not convinced Denver's able to do that either. And that changed a little bit when JOK got hurt last week as well. So I don't know. I don't buy the Denver defense as an elite unit just yet. This would change my opinion, obviously, since they're actually playing a good offense this week. But I do think Baltimore is going to score a bunch. I also do think that Denver can move the ball, though. And that's why I like the over in the game. But I don't really have a strong opinion on the side. And I will say, last thing on this game, Ravens do blow leads hard.
Big time.
Big time. It's like their MO. Get out to a fast lead, blow it. That's the problem with laying the big number with the Ravens, is they've done this a million times in the past few years. Get out to this huge lead, then their defense can't defend anything afterwards.
All right, so plus 9.5 for me with Denver. Cam, did you come up with a pick in that time?
I think I did.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to take the Bears against the Cardinals. How do you feel about that?
I like it.
I'm going to take the Chicago Bears plus 1.5 against the Cardinals after that horrible sorry, Rob. Hey, you and Pat made your little fucking deal at the start, and I said you shouldn't have done it, shouldn't have done it, shouldn't have done it, shouldn't have done it. Ooh, we can't.
I waited too long. I should have jumped the gun while you were thinking.
Early bird gets a worm, or sorry, this one, early bear gets the salmon, bitch. I want the Bears plus 1.5. This bear is going to roll in a bunch of shit and eat salmon and smell worse than my dog used to when he used to roll into dead carcasses at the Credit River while I was looking for golf balls and found Titleist Baladas and sold them back to the members for full price. Give me the Bears plus 1.5.
Might have been the best handicap for a game I've ever heard in my entire life. The amount of energy you brought there and then mixed in somehow found a way to mix in the fact that you used to get golf balls out of the water and sell them back.
Rob,
I don't know how your brain works, but it needs to be donated to science. I don't know where we started, where we finished. It was amazing.
Thank you, Rob.
Amazing.
You know I'm glad you appreciate some of the things I do because I don't get it a lot.
True talent. Honestly, a true talent.
Hey, thanks, pal. And I'll tell you another thing. I used to go down and reach for ball. Ooh, here comes a snapper, like snapping turtle. There's a nice eel. Oh, it's water snake taking a bite on my leg. I used to hang out at the Credit River and these fucking drunks in canoes. Hey, bye, loser. You hit the rapids. Here are the golf balls in my fucking garbage bag. And then I'm right up the hill, right on Dead Man's Cliff, light a reefer. He gone. And I'll tell you, man, I made a fortune selling golf balls. I used to skip school to get golf balls. It's a great enterprise, Pat, as a child. I advise everyone, golf ball hunting, can't beat it. Golf balls are expensive.
They are. Yeah. That's true.
They are.
That's all I'm going to say.
I got some
my entrepreneur as a kid. And I also used to drive a boat and sell raspberries to cottagers. That was my other enterprise as a child. Yep.
Where'd you get
I used to pick raspberries all day. Up north, I love raspberries. They're my favorite fruit. I used to pick them and go get the pints, and I'd put up like pints and whatever, put them in a flat and drive around to cottagers. $3. Next thing you know, I'm walking away. Rob knows I'm a very entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur.
I have a raspberry bush in the yard here. I grow raspberries here.
I'm going to come over and.
Well, I'm moving. I sold this house. I'm gone in a month.
Would you give Cust any free samples of your raspberries?
I would. I like
Come
Tim.
take whatever he wants.
Well, the guy's eating fucking maggots, so he can have some berries. Sure.
If it's just me and my wife in this house, you can only eat so many berries. You know how many berries come off a raspberry vine? It's insane over the course of the year.
Raspberries are awesome.
And they spread like wildfire. They're very good. They do. I enjoy them.
Delicious.
Tortellini did enjoy them as well, but Tortellini's no longer part of it.
I didn't know turtles like raspberries, but he's got good taste. Bears plus 1.5.
Rob, bronze pick.
I'll take Geoff's Chargers minus.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Feinberg in the commercial is a Viking, but he's a Charger.
Yeah. I think we've kind of just moved a little bit too much on this game right now, right? Jameis is good. I get it.
I'm with you.
But, I mean, he had a few turnover-worthy plays. They should have lost to the Ravens if Kyle Hamilton held on to the ball that was thrown right at him last week. And honestly, the Chargers have come out since the bye week, throwing the ball all over the field. Denzel Ward is hurt again with another concussion for the Browns. I mean, people tell Tua he should retire. Denzel Ward has like 100 concussions in the last 3 years. I don't know how that guy's still playing. JOK's hurt on that defense. The one thing that the Browns do really well is attack via the edges. Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith did not practice today due to injury. Myles Garrett, great defensive lineman, but that's the strength of the Chargers as well, is their left and right tackle. So it kind of nullifies some of the impact of that Browns defense. I think it's a little bit short. Give me the Chargers.
Lad McConkey's playing great football too.
I love McConkey. They might get Quentin Johnston back, which actually matters for them as well. I'm the Chargers are like, I don't want to.
I agree with you, Rob.
They're like low key that they could do some damage.
Here's the problem, though. I like the Cleveland side of this game because the Chargers are going to rig this game to make sure it's down to a field goal one way or another. So in that circumstance, I always like to take the points regardless of the teams. But even to watch the Saints play them last week, Cam, the Chargers tried to keep the Saints in that game. The Saints were just too bad to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying though, to Rob's point, Pat. Bowers for the Raiders and McConkey, like take a look at Georgia because I do college football. They're a totally different team without those two guys. McConkey's a monster. Like he'll catch anything. Like that guy's hands are so pure. Like, and Rob's right. Like the problem with Harbaugh is he's not aggressive enough. He still thinks it's the Big Ten. Like, dude, you can't let Cam Dicker kick field goals all the time. You need more touchdowns. But Rob, I think you would agree that they're kind of a dangerous team. I
would agree. Like I think if everything goes right for that, I don't think the the defense is as good as people think on the
Yeah.
Chargers, but it's fine. It's better than years past where teams just ran the ball down their throat over and over. Like, they're better than that. I thought they were too conservative early in the year, just running. And now Herbert's throwing the ball all over the field. Yeah. They don't have the weapons, but they have the quarterback, and it's a good team. You're telling me the Chargers can't make a run? I think they can make a run. I wouldn't bet anyone against it. Like, Chiefs are going to find a way to win games and win the Super Bowl, but the Chargers are a very live team, I would say.
If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl again, I'm going to jump off a building.
No. It'll be okay as long as they beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, or the Eagles beat them in the Super Bowl. Then I win a lot of money, and I would be happy about that.
Did everyone in the world make that bet?
Win the Super Bowl, just for everyone.
It was 50-1. Why not?
Yeah. No, I know I did too, but I'm wondering if everyone made. It seems like everyone's rooting for Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl.
Not me.
It was really widespread.
Well, I bet it both ways.
But I like you, Pat. So good luck if it happens and you win money. That's cool. But I don't like either team.
I bet it. Chiefs over Eagles and Eagles over Chiefs. Just so I wouldn't have to hedge if it got there.
Right.
Fair enough.
I like that.
Actually, I like the Buccaneers against the Chiefs this week. I had the Raiders last week.
Yeah, I like the Bucks. I like the Bucks and the points too.
Do you like the Bucks, Rob?
I don't.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
I'm not betting that. I just really struggle to see how Tampa's going to score.
Have we all done a bronze pick? Has Pat done a bronze pick yet?
I let it off when
you guys took the Broncos.
Oh yeah, Broncos. And what did you take, Rob? Again?
Chargers. I took the Chargers, and you said you took the Bears, and you said early bird gets the worm, and then you said no, early bear gets the salmon, and then you called me a bitch.
I didn't mean to call you a bitch.
Well, you did. You said
part of my act.
Yeah. Said early bear gets the salmon. And you yelled bitch.
I did. But any guy that's got a raspberry bush ain't a bitch, just a friend that I'm going to come pillage your fruit.
Well, it's done. It's done for the end of the year. I told you, I sold the house. It's gone.
Well, can you get...
They're gone.
Will the new neighbors mind if I trespass on their property and steal their raspberries?
I'll give you the address. You can come
Damn right you are. I don't care what they say.
Yeah, who cares? It gives a shit. What are they going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? Shoot me? Ooh, I'm stealing your berries. Do we need to do a teaser?
We do. We've hit 3 in a row after going 0-4 to start the season and missing a week because we forgot to do it. So Rob has already nominated New Orleans -1.5 to be a part of his teaser. I am going to tease Buffalo down to a pick'em. Buffalo could have been any one of my picks. I love Buffalo this week, but I'll put them on the teaser as my leg as a pick'em. Cam, to you.
What do you think about the Bengals tease down against the Raiders?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I could do that. Yep.
Okay, I'm done. But I know this Bengals team's bad, but they got a rebound after that debacle last week. So give me the Bengals.
I know that a lot of the big favorites have lost this year, especially early in the year.
It's a favorites week.
But doesn't it seem like the Eagles are a good teaser, the Chiefs, the Bengals, like all these big favorites, I actually think are a good teaser plays this week.
You're right.
I can see the
what
Bengals,
leg loses.
I can see the Bengals losing. I think they're 0-3 without T. Higgins, and I don't think they're playing. He's playing.
Well, I could take Seattle, but you guys are on the Rams, and I don't want to deal with Kansas City.
You also shouldn't take Seattle because they could lose this game by 20.
I think Indy might be a good teaser, but Rob's on it straight up. What about Green Bay against Detroit? That's a lot of points.
I like Green Bay 3.5 just in general, but the Lions are a team that can wagon anyone.
That's the thing.
You know what? Can I just stick to the Bengals?
Stick to the Bengals, yeah.
Bengals,
Go with your gut.
So, okay, to recap the picks this week, Washington, New Orleans, Denver are my 3. Rob has the Rams, Indy, and the Chargers as his 3. Tennessee, Dallas, and Chicago for Cam. The teaser being New Orleans 1.5, Buffalo, Pick'em, Cincinnati -1 on a 6-point teaser. Those are the Week 9 picks.
You guys aren't going to throw down a $50 bet head-to-head this week?
I don't feel like we disagreed on really anything.
It's true.
What game do you love, Pat? Like,
you know what? We can do Thursday night. I'll take the Jets -2.
No, and I'll make you a deal. I'll make it easy too. Do you like the Rams over the Seahawks?
I do.
Good. I'll take Seattle $50.
Boom.
What do I get? 1.5?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get 1.5.
Yeah, well,
it's 1.5. It's 1.5 everywhere, basically.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not. See, I'm not trying to rip. Like, remember, I know. Cam's.
No, yeah, you used to hoodwink an extra half point.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore, Rob. Right? Since I'm in the Barry game.
That was when there was one sportsbook sponsor as well, where we could very easily pull up the line, and you would just argue that it wasn't the line because you had on your local bookie site.
You are correct, and you know my other local bookie with the.
I do. I'm very aware.
Kilda Saints logo instead of New Orleans. They got a lot of interesting lines, but we're not going to go there this week.
Rob, when do the Panthers become a value to bet? Because they're not going 1-16 against the spread. Eventually, this always flips on the teams that are really good and really bad. There's always outliers.
2 touchdowns, Rob. 14+.
Yeah, I think it's when you look at the line and you're like, this is insane now. We're bordering on insane. Because a lot of these bad teams, it becomes very hard to catch up to them quickly enough. And I think the market sometimes lags behind on how bad some of these teams are. But yeah, at some point there will just be a complete reversal where it's going to be like, okay, now, this is a lot of points, an insane amount of points.
You know what that
year
too,
Jacksonville
guys?
went to Denver, Peyton Manning was like 24-point underdog.
Yes.
Like that's what it's going to get to at some point.
Rob, last night, that game too, Pat, with Carolina and Denver, it got bet up to like 13.5.
I told you it would.
Did it close? And they still won by 14.
That's why I made it my gold pick. It wasn't high enough.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So they actually bet a line from like, what was it? What did it open up at?
9.
It was short of 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So it went up 4.5 points and they still covered by the hook. That's how bad Carolina is.
Yeah. It's not, I look at the games every week, and for me, it's never like at the current prices, it's not going to be Carolina. It's just, I'm going to bet the other team or I'm going to pass the game. Those are the two options. But someday you'll log in and you'll be like, oh, fuck, like 14.5. Like now we have to have a conversation at this point, right?
Rob, I'm going to tell you though, you could have made the Saints 10 and people would still bet them and said Carolina. So I think the books are doing themselves a disservice at 7.5. Like, everyone's betting against these guys. It's a bad number.
I do think that there is a type of better out here, as evidenced by Jeff taking the Panthers this week. Like, that line's too fishy. I'm going to take the other side.
Yeah, I used to do that too. I try not to do that anymore.
But also you have to remember they have access to so much betting information, right? Every time you make a bet with a sports book, they now have access to that information, and they know if you're going to be a winner or a loser in the long run. So you don't know. There could be some significant winning bettor that's taken an early position on Carolina, and the books will say, well, we want this position because this guy has this position. So there's so much more that goes into it. You can easily say, yeah, they could hang it at 10, but if they did hang it at 10, it would get bet to 7.5 because that's what the market is right now. Someone would come in at that number. So it's tough, but I'm with you guys. Like we all see eye to eye on this team at this point. They're terrible. And I don't think that this is enough points for New Orleans to be favored.
So Pat, I got Seattle plus 1.5. You got Rams minus 1.5. And if I lose the bet, as Rob says, I can't log on to a computer, I will send you an e-transfer for $50 that after the game. Okay.
All right, deal. That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Once again, code Mayo at Underdog to get yourself the free pick, the bonuses, the slashed odds. It's pretty good. I'd go do that right now. Use code Mayo when you go sign up. You can check out Rob on the Forward Progress channel. What is the name of the Monday morning show? Is it Circles Back?
So that comes out on Tuesdays at 8 a.m. and it's actually on the Circles Off channel, which is our like lifestyle brand of the Hammer. So that's Circle Back, and it's basically The View with gambling Twitter.
So you're telling me you do a show about like I'm using this raver to shave my balls and stuff?
No.
Like
basically,
hacks?
we pull up tweets from the past week in gambling Twitter. Me and Jeff joins me in studio for that one.
Nice.
And we just basically like react. It is The View, Cam. It's like watching or the TMZ show that they do on TV where there's a newsroom and they go through celebrity news and stuff.
I got to be honest with you. I don't hate a lot of people, but when I see Jerry O'Connell's little dance and the opening of The View, I want to like put my whole through. Like I want to put that like guy down.
How often are you watching The View?
Well, my girlfriend watches Bold and the Beautiful and other stuff, and it's right on afterwards. So I see their little intro at the start. And I got to tell you, that could be the worst. Like if you watch that show, like you're just losing brain cells. It's the worst show on television.
Many people have said the exact same thing about this show. And I want to thank you all 100%. For watching. If you have a brain injury and you're watching, remember again to smash the like while you're here and sub to the channel. I'll be back on Friday with Tambo. Until then, I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!